See, I'd like to think Ophelia stood at the edge of the brook, threw the flowers and screamed, "Fuck you, Hamlet!" I would like to stand next to Ophelia in the watercress and the smell of moss and green, and I would like to say, Ophelia, you are not half a person looking for another half. I would say, hey, it's okay if you don't always bag the prince. See, Ophelia thought she was in a romance. Her obstacles, she presumed, were just plot points to prove that the course of true love never does run smooth. But the cast always knew you had issues, Ophelia, but oh, Ophelia, won't anyone miss you? Kneeling on the bank, she's a discarded tissue, soaked up too many feelings from too many people, with no lines to quote, just a letter in her pocket, a note and sorrow, a sour taste of sorrel in her throat. Don't die for love, Ophelia. Such a fragile thing to pin your hopes on, pin your life on. Ophelia dying because no one ever compared her to a summer's day. Dying because no one defied stars or swore to the moon they would marry her soon. Dying because she is nobody's dearest chook. Dying because when she sings, her music is the food of nothing but awkward silences and soliloquies that never mention her name. Ophelia thought she was in a fairy tale, going to be a princess and wear a forever after wedding dress. No one showed her the page, told her she was in a tragedy, and she would die off stage. Oh, Ophelia, if you want fairy tales, you have to build them around you. Passive, Ophelia, so passive, letting the water drag you under, going with the flow, not catching the gist, fading to mist. Ophelia assumed she was the protagonist, as people in love do. No one told her things were getting gory. No one told her this is not her story. His story moves on into history. Princes make history, Ophelia. The rest of us rot, forgotten. Not much grieving, not much grief. Discussing your death is the comic relief. Hardly noticed, hardly missed. But I'd like to think Ophelia was not mad, but pissed. I'd like to think Ophelia's girlfriends took her out, gave her wine and said, "Forget him, mate, he's not worth it." There's no girlfriends in the script, but perhaps they were waiting in the wings to take her dancing. And when she comes in and sings and gives everyone flowers, she's not out of her wits, she's just off her tits on rosé and S-Club and apple sours. I like to think she slipped. She slipped into the slipstream, and yes, I like to think drowning drunk is a peaceful death and the water feels warm like a bath as it cools your blood. But I like to think Ophelia struggled just a little, kicked her feet against mud and stones that shifted and gave no purchase. I like to think that at the end, Ophelia fought for life just a little.